Queensland is done. Perth is done. And now we're doing what if New South Wales won Gabba round. However, Thursday night footy. On Thursday night to kickstart Sydney Gabba round, we got the Swans versus Collingwood at the SCG. Those two clubs have had quite a history together. That would be the perfect game to kickstart Gabba round Sydney style. Friday foot at Friday. Well, once again, I've got North Melbourne versus the Brisbane Lions. And that one is going to be at Edgy Stadium at 3:20 p.m. on the Friday. Friday night at the SCG. I'm going to Blues, but I'm going to the Crows versus... I'm going to Crows versus the Hawks. On the Friday night at the SCG. As this concept of Gabba round, like the Queensland one, it might be moved to opening round. Might be on opening round. On whoever if one of them wins it. Saturday, 1:10 p.m. I'm going North Bell. Going to Well, I've already had the Kangaroos versus the Lions. I'm going. The Western Bulldogs versus Port Adelaide. Well, the two usually verse each other in Ballarat. Since the two usually verse each other in Ballarat. You know, I might just have it in another regional ground. How about... How about we have that one at Hexham Park? The home of the GWS Giants and Sydney Swans AFL women's teams. Don't have to have temporary grandstands in that ground. Well, Marrickville... This will kind of look more like a regional ground. They'll have to have temporary grandstands on there like they did with the Barossa Valley and with the Adelaide Hills. For this match, Saturday twilight, I'm going Essendon versus... How about Essendon versus the Gold Coast Suns? And this one is going to be at NG Stadium. 4:40 p.m. kickoff. This one, Saturday night, we return to the SCG. For the Blues versus... For the Blues versus the Saints. This one will be Saturday night at the SCG. 7:20 p.m. kickoff time. This one already had Swans Collingwood. We had Swans Collingwood. Roos Lions. Crows Hawks. Power Bulldogs. Bombers Suns and Blue Saints. Then there's the Sunday game. Well, we'll be back at Henson Park for Melbourne versus the West Coast Eagles. As this one will be a 110 game. I mean, wait a minute. For the other game at Henson Park on the Saturday, instead of, well, I swapped out Bulldogs and Port Adelaide, well, I've now got Richmond and Port Adelaide. That would make sense. Meanwhile, at the SCG on like 3:20 Sunday, I'm going to Dockers versus I'm going Freo on the Cats. Make that a 3:20 game at the SCG. While the last game of the round, I've got the massive rivalry, the Giants and the Bulldogs. That would be the perfect game to close Gather Round, Sydney style. We'll have that on Saturday night at Edgy State at Edgy. 7:20 p.m. kickoff. The last game of well, do you reckon Sydney could host Gather Round in 2027? Will it stay in Adelaide or will it go elsewhere? This is Lachlan Brown here, and we'll let you know the decision when the Port Adelaide St Kilda game happens.